Virginia Beach chiropractor Dr. Charles Whitehouse is fighting to keep his license because he practices etheronics, which is what he calls a psychic form of treatment.
Around an organ or a gland, there is an energy field encompassing it. How well that energy field vibrates depends on how well that gland or that organ functions. We use color therapy here as an aspect of treating the etheric body, or the aura.
Whitehouse, who does much of his work with mentally retarded patients, puts a person under colored lights and then psychically cleans his aura.
We put the full spectral aspect of lights on them. We have certain head positions that are, I'd say, more important than others. These instruments operate through the mind power of the operator.
According to Whitehouse, a person who is ill or mentally retarded has just a sick aura, and he says he can detect that and help cure the problem.
We have instruments that permit us to measure the amount of consciousness or the aura or the energy field around an organ, gland, or tissue. In other words, we can do an analysis on that child and give you a profile of what's happening within him. We also have a method of energizing these and bringing them up.
However, the State Board of Medicine has obtained an injunction that prohibits Whitehouse from practicing etheronics until a hearing is held in February, which may cost Whitehouse his chiropractic license.
What we hope to do is to prove that all of this is a natural approach to healing and is, in fact, a part of a chiropractic overall approach to health.
Although some say he's a nut, a kook, and a ripoff, Whitehouse maintains he's helping people.
See, if we were a ripoff artist, we wouldn't give 67% of our services away, to people. The people that come to seek our services are what we call the medical rejects, basically. They've been everywhere, they've done everything, and nothing has helped.
In our next report, the pros and cons of etheronics. Mike Deason, Area 10 Eyewitness News, Virginia Beach.
So he might be a little kooky, as people might think that he is. He's got something, and if it works, just imagine what can be done with it.
I would say quackery is rather cruel because it preys on ignorance and it exploits fear and helplessness and gives false hope.
Debbie Sawyer and Dr. John Kruger are talking about the same thing. Virginia Beach chiropractor Charles Whitehouse and his practice of etheronics, which he claims psychically helps mentally retarded patients. Mrs. Sawyer, who has a severely mentally retarded son, heard about Whitehouse and went to see him.
I talked to him and he explained all of the fundamentals of it all to me, and it was very overwhelming. He gave me some literature to read, and I thought, what am I doing? This is crazy. And but for some reason, I felt very impelled, and I took him back the next day.
Whitehouse started color therapy, and soon her son Todd gained 9 pounds, began increasing his mobility and visual awareness.
Do you attribute this to the color therapy?
Well, if it isn't, it's awfully coincidental because he did not do it before. I have to say that I'm seeing these improvements, so why not continue with what I'm doing?
But Kruger says the treatment is useless and is upset by color therapy,
which is extracting money from people who already have had enough misfortune.
At first, Mrs. Sawyer thought that might be the case, too.
I wanted to see if he was a charlatan and somebody out to make money on someone else's misery, but he doesn't charge for the services at all.
The State Board of Medicine currently has an injunction against Whitehouse practicing color therapy and will hold a February hearing to determine if he should keep his license. Kruger says color therapy can be emotionally damaging to the parents of retarded children, but Sawyer disagrees.
I'm not so emotionally unstable that if nothing happens with it that I'm going to be devastated, because my devastation happened a long time ago, and when the doctors said there's nothing we can do, then I worked through that at that point. Now I have nowhere to go but up. If I don't go anywhere, what have I lost? Nothing.
Mike Deason, Area 10 Eyewitness News.